Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite. This is episode number 116. I'm your host, Tim vanautreve. Joining me, as always, are internet famous Josh the Tosh Mason.
Hi.
And Jennifer vanautreve.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thanks.
How's everyone's day going so far? It is afternoon.
It is. I've already mowed. Job and I played a lot of Lego.
The Tosh has been up for 7 hours already. Woke up at 5 a.m. The vanautraves
been up for 5 minutes.
We got up out of bed at 11, roughly.
We were
I was
awake at 9:15.
Yeah.
It just takes you 2 hours to get out.
We
of
are
bed.
not early risers. I got to replace an exterior door today on my garage.
You should have done that at about
7 hours
6 in the
ago.
morning.
Yeah.
When it was still 80.
Yeah. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah. I mowed at 8 a.m. to try and avoid the heat of the day.
You could just wait till tonight when it's cooled off again.
I pay to have someone mow my yard because I've got better things to do.
My yard only takes 45 minutes, so I just can't
We have a pretty small yard.
justify it.
Mine takes about 45 minutes also.
But there's a lot of trimming they have to do. That's the biggest thing is trimming.
It takes me 2 minutes to trim my yard.
We have the whole fence on both sides and everything.
Yeah, I don't even
else.
have a trimmer. I have the
I
machine
have
part.
a trimmer.
No, you don't.
What happened to my trimmer? I had a trimmer before. I had a trimmer before I knew you. I had to
You
use.
threw it away.
Well, you threw it away then. I wouldn't have thrown it away.
That's not true. We had a big conversation about this because your device did not work.
I had a trimmer and I had to suffer through trimming until I got a husband, which I thought would mean my husband would then trim.
Yeah. Don't get your hopes up.
But then that's not what happened. Instead, he said my trimmer wasn't good enough.
And he threw it away.
And he threw it away.
And then hired somebody to do the trimming.
Yes.
I have better things to do than mow my grass. Like replace my doors.
I am actually
or put
glad
up pools or
that we do it.
pergolas or
Because
palapas.
it is nice having somebody do it. They've been doing a better job this year.
How come you're not having Junior do it?
He sold his business,
Oh.
and so it's the same business that he had. They're doing
Same
it,
people.
but James kind of runs it now, I
Oh.
guess. And James is always here mowing. He's one of the people that comes.
Oh,
And
he sold his business to James?
no, he sold his business to some guy. I don't know, but James continued to work for the company, and now James kind of is
He's
a
the
leader.
foreman.
I don't
He's
know
the
what he's
foreman.
called. A head of mower. I
Head
don't know.
mower.
Yeah. So
He's a grass engineer.
that I really like coming home and it's like the yard looks really nice because when Tim did mow for a short period of time, he never would
Garbage,
trim
hot garbage.
and he would not bag anything, and I
don't
get
bag anything.
really mad
Yeah,
because
she
it
is a
looked horrible.
freak about bagging. It is irritating.
Nope. I just mulch it and I do not bag it.
Yours probably doesn't get as tall as ours though.
It certainly does.
Oh.
I mean, we live in the same climate. We get
No,
the
but-
same amount of rain.
There's a difference because I don't have trees in my yard. My old house was the same way, and my grass would grow really, really fast. And when Junior did mow, he mowed hundreds of different places in this climate, and he was
Your grass is the fastest
Yes.
growing grass.
It's because
He
Gus,
did.
County
it's
area.
because of Gus. It's because Gus poops in the backyard
That's
and it makes the
fertilizer.
grass grow
Whatever.
really tall. That's exactly what it is. All the high spots in the backyard are where the dog poop is.
And nobody cleans it
The
up.
front yard doesn't grow that fast. It's because of the dog. And because we never clean it up and it just sits there.
That's not true. I mean, I make the kids clean it up all the time.
Oh yeah, I bet I could go back there and
quality
find.
control.
I could find about 50 turd bombs out there
The
right
kids
now.
have to clean it up at least once a week in
Who
the
is the
summer.
head pooper scooper?
They have to
Poop
all
engineer
share it
is
because they all
really-
hate it.
Yeah, they do. That's their number one
Fecal
least favorite
removal.
task.
Engineer.
So we're going to be talking about Star
Anyways.
Wars, believe it or not. 5 minutes into this podcast, Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, a 2014 comic book published by Dark Horse originally.
I think we should have done the D23 one first. But
It's too late now.
It's-
We've committed.
What's D23?
the new behind the scenes thing for The Last Jedi and all the announcements coming out of D23.
Oh.
Disney's little private Comic Con.
Well, maybe we should have talked about this beforehand.
Well, you just kind of started. You turned
Well-
off the air and hit play.
Why do we have to?
Because then we can put that one out first. It doesn't matter.
Why do we have to have an episode for that? Why can't we just talk about it in this one?
because there's a lot to talk about, and because people have complained about the fact that we didn't do a trailer episode. It was snuck into the celebration.
Yeah, everybody always asks if we're going to do
a trailer episode? You gonna do one?
Okay.
So we should have
So reverse, this is episode 117.
Nope, this is episode 116.
We'll just put them out back to back, and
we're going to talk about D23.
no, we're gonna talk about it. We'll do a different opening for it,
Oh, okay. So we'll do a separate episode and we'll just release them back to back.
or at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or-
All right.
Blast. Put people on blast.
Simultaneously.
We missed last week, so we owe them one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have
we
to-
do. So we post it today and then we post the next one on our normal day. How's that?
Whatever. I just would have preferred the D23 one first because of the hype.
Okay.
Capitalize on the hype.
You're
what we
correct
should
to do that. I already tried to do that and you guys were all like, nope.
What we should do is we should release episode 117 first, and then release episode 116.
Oh, my Lord.
all
please.
the things will figure it out, right?
No.
They'll sort it in numeric order.
No. No, they won't.
Well, whatever. So, Son of Dathomir, we'll charge on.
Gosh.
Can we just start over?
No,
just delete this. This
we
is
have
annoying.
lots of good content.
We are a professional podcast. And
Let's just talk about the D23 things. I don't know what it means. Go ahead.
Well, you haven't
Josh.
watched it. Well, you'll have to watch it in between.
No, just explain it to me. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a listener that has ability to listen to podcasts, but not an ability to
Blind?
view trailers. Yeah.
A blind listener,
So explain it.
they go to the movies and they just listen.
okay, so D23.
Maybe
is what we're
they've
talking
been
about.
busy and they haven't been able to watch the trailer.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm not
You
blind.
need to watch it while I'm talking. It's imperative that you see it.
Let's just talk about Son of Dathomir already.
I agree.
Okay.
my
I agree.
God.
Yeah,
Let's just do
we'll talk
Son of
about
Dathomir.
D23 later.
You got notes for Son of Dathomir. That way you can get a new notebook since you filled that one up to take notes on the 2 minutes of behind the scenes on D23.
Oh, yeah. God. Okay.
So this comic is now technically published by Marvel Comics because it transferred over
From Dark Horse.
Yeah. So it was written by Jeremy Barlow, art by Juan Frigeri, and the cover is by Chris Scalf. He does the covers for all 4 issues.
It's based on 4 episodes of the Clone Wars that never aired.
Was it supposed to be 4 episodes or 1 episode?
It didn't
that
say
they
the
just broke
number
up?
of episodes. It just said it's based on episodes that never aired.
Yes.
Or were never made.
It is very Clone Wars-esque, I will say, in its feel.
So this is technically canon now?
It is
Yes.
100% canon.
Oh, okay. So you want me to do the synopsis?
If you want to, I can do a synopsis. as
Sure,
well.
I'd be happy to do
I don't
a
know
synopsis.
if you could read my notes.
I don't need notes.
Well, I didn't just spend 3 hours writing this for nothing. so.
Okay.
Why do you spend so long writing?
No,
this?
just read it.
All right. So this is 4 different issues. Everything, all my notes run together, so I guess that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Palpatine has taken Maul prisoner on this planet called Stygian.
Stygian?
Stygian. There's supposedly a secret prison on this planet. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that planet before, or if they just made it up.
I mean, all of them they made up.
I mean, if they just
None
like,
of them exist in the real
this was
world.
a-
They're all made up planets.
what? No, I meant if they just like created it just for
No.
this, all of a sudden.
No,
okay.
it's existed before.
Okay. Dooku is also at the prison, not as a prisoner. He's just there working with Palpatine or Sidious, whatever you want to call him. Palpatine tells Dooku about all these different forces that want to destroy them besides the Jedi. He tells him about this Dathomir witch named Mother Talzin.
Yeah,
how you
Mother
say?
Talzin.
This witch sent. But this part was very confusing. I have a lot of questions, like I used to in the beginning, because they brought in a lot of stuff.
Well, you're jumping in to the middle of the Clone Wars TV show.
And I haven't watched.
And you haven't watched
the Clone
it.
Wars. So, when Palpatine is explaining the story of this witch, and why she wants to harm them, he says that this witch sent Maul to Palpatine when he was a child.
He's not telling the truth.
Right, but I was just confused when I read that. So that's what he's telling Dooku.
Right.
So you know that he's had Maul since he was really little.
Yep.
You see a cute little picture of Maul as like a tiny
Maul.
10-year-old or younger. So Grievous had previously attacked Dathomir, but Maul obviously escaped, so Palpatine knows that the witch did too. And he says that they need to draw her into the light so that they can kill her, and they're going to try to manipulate Maul to draw her out, because they think if they hurt Maul enough, he'll try to get help from her, and she'll come to help him, and then they can kill her. 2 Mandalorians break into this prison to rescue Maul. They received some kind of message from another Mandalorian, and they're all supposed to meet back on Zanbar.
Do you remember? I can't remember if at this point you learned their names.
You haven't yet.
Okay, then keep going.
So Dooku is interrogating Maul, trying to get information about his resources in this black market. Because apparently Maul has
in the Clone
gotten all
Wars,
these contacts and built up this alliance of different
in the Clone
groups.
Wars, Maul takes over Mandalore, and then he also works with a bunch of criminal syndicates to create this organization that he's referencing.
Yeah.
So this is all backstory from the Clone Wars TV show.
So Dooku's trying to get Maul to talk about his resources. He won't give him any info, obviously. So Dooku does that thing that Palpatine does where he like electrocutes him. The Mandalores are able to get Maul out of the prison, and they all go back to Zanbar. They call it the Shadow Collective.
Yeah.
Is that all of the groups together?
Yeah.
All the different syndicates. So they have this secret base on the swamp moon of Zanbar. That sounds so attractive of a planet or
It might be the coolest
location.
planet in the galaxy.
So they've said that the Black Sun, the Pikes, and obviously the Mandalore people are all part of this shadow.
Not all the Mandalorians,
Well,
but the Death Watch specifically are.
Okay.
But they don't go into detail on that.
Yeah, they don't talk about Death Watch. But they're part of this shadow collective that is all on Maul's side.
Well, they follow Maul. He's the leader of it.
So Maul, once they get to Zanbar, Maul speaks with this Prime Minister Almec, who is a Mandalorian who was kind of in charge of this rescue mission to get Maul out of the prison. And Almec says that you find out that Maul had rescued this Almec person from another prison at some point. And I didn't know if that was in the Clone Wars or... Okay. Then Almec gives Maul the dark saber that they found on Mandalore. Separatist ships then begin attacking this moon. Maul thinks that they're going to win because he's got a lot of forces already joined up there. So they fight back at the Separatists, but the Separatists kill most of them. A Mandalorian ship swoops down and rescues Maul, and they leave Zanbar. And their whole goal, this is that back to Palpatine and Dooku's plan, is just to hurt Maul bad enough so that he calls for the witch's help. So then you see Maul summoning the witch, who turns out to be his mother, and he tells her that he's doing everything she wanted. She's following the plan. The power that he has amassed has lured Darth Sidious, and she knows that Sidious probably let Maul escape so that Maul would lead Sidious to her. So she's trying to stay away, but she tells Maul to go to this Ord Mantell. That's another place where the Shadow Collective have a base. Actually the Black Sun have a stronghold there.
Right.
So he wants her to meet him there. He's like, "Are you going to be there, Mommy?" And she's like, "No." So you can tell he's got some major mommy issues. When he summons her, you can see she just kind of appears as like in a cloud of green smoke or something.
Yeah.
She came out of his chest.
Right.
Okay.
Nothing like keeping Mother close.
So Maul gets his forces ready on Ord Mantell, and he kind of gets this plan to... I think this is the battle where they have this plan to lure. They have like a ground force, and then they lure the ships to a certain spot where they can get the upper hand or something. But Dooku doesn't want to strike there until they know that the witch is there. But then they find out that there's like a shuttle that has left Dathomir. And so they just assume that it's her. So then they get ready to fight. There's like a conversation with Dooku and Grievous because Grievous is like, doesn't know anything about this witch, supposedly. And he's like, what's the big deal? Why can't we just go back to Dathomir and kill everybody? And then Dooku starts explaining how Sidious sought out her teaching and magic and how they were allies, but now Sidious sees her as a threat, so she's a lot more powerful than Grievous understands. Let me see. So they come to that Ord Mantell. The Separatists show up to fight because they think the witch is there. It's really not her in the shuttle. It's like a full group of these Night Brothers, which look just like Maul. I don't know exactly what the Night Brothers are.
Zabrax.
What?
Zabrax is the race that they are. And they normally, it's interesting they're calling them Night Brothers because the main thing is the Night Sisters. In the old canon, they used to say that, didn't they like get rid of the males?
Yeah.
Or they made them their slaves or something like that if any males were born into their society. And so they trained all the women in force powers, so they called them all the Night Sisters. And that's what Mother Talzin is.
So are these her kids too, or are these just people they've trained?
I mean, the way that
she gives them some of her magic, and they get trained.
So the head Night Brother is called Brother...
Darth Maul.
No.
Brother Maul.
It starts with a V. I'll find it. I wrote it later.
Viscous.
Yeah, Brother Viscous. So Maul speaks to them, and he tells them to go back to like his base, and then he'll tell them what to do later. So the attack starts right away. Dooku comes to the surface of the planet just to look for Maul and the witch, and then Grievous is like up in the air, leading an attack from there. Maul and the Mandalorians lure Grievous into a trap, and Dooku is looking for Maul, but then he comes across these Night Brothers, so he fights all of them. Maul actually boards Grievous's ship and makes him disconnect the droid's command signal, and he does that just as all the droids were capturing all of the remaining soldiers on the planet, so they got out just in time. As Dooku is about to kill the last Night Brother, which is Brother Viscous, the soldiers that were just got away from those droids come in and capture him, which I don't understand. He had all of these super powerful Night Brothers that he just took out like it was nothing, and then just these random soldiers come in and capture him without a fight at all.
He wanted to be captured.
Okay.
You didn't read the rest of the story?
I read all of it, but it didn't seem like Dooku was involved in that plan at all.
Yeah, it was a trap.
Okay.
It was all part of it.
Okay, so Dooku's captured by the soldiers. Maul boarded Grievous's ship and captured him. And then Maul talks to his mother again. She basically tells him, everything's going according to her plan and he's doing well. Now the Jedi are involved though because after they had this huge battle on that Ord Mantell, there's citizens there that they basically destroyed the city. So the citizens reported seeing Dooku fighting. They didn't know Maul's name, but they described him, so they know it's Maul.
A red dark Jedi. Is what.
Yeah. So Mace Windu is talking to Chancellor Palpatine about this, and Windu thinks that maybe Maul is this rogue Sith they've been looking for, and Windu tells Palpatine that they could end this whole war if they could capture both of them together. So Palpatine tells him to just use whatever resources they have and do whatever it takes to find them and capture them. So Obi-Wan and I don't know who this person is, Master Tipley.
Yeah.
Who is she?
She's a person who has no story other than this story.
Okay.
As far as I
Her
know.
purpose is to die.
Yeah, basically.
So they go to investigate this Mandalorian supply outpost. Maul speaks to Sidious via a hologram and tells him that he has both Grievous and Dooku captured. And at first, Sidious is like, "What are your demands?" And then, but then right away he's like, "Whatever, just kill him. I don't care." So Maul has his Mandalorians, whoever it was, take Grievous and like just lock him up somewhere, and then he speaks to Dooku alone and tries to get him to abandon Sidious and come over and serve him. And
She was in 2 episodes of the Clone Wars. I was wrong.
that Master Tipley.
Yeah.
So he's trying to talk Dooku into coming over to his side. He summons his mother again, and she talks to Dooku, and she tells Dooku that Sidious has betrayed her, and then she stole Maul, or Sidious stole Maul from her, and then ended up betraying him too. And she's basically saying, "You're gonna have the same fate as Maul. He's just gonna use you and then spit you out, basically." And this is, so I guess Dooku seems surprised that the witch is Maul's mother. So if he really knew that, he pretended he didn't know that.
But he didn't know, because earlier in the comic, Palpatine said that she had given
Yeah, I know.
Maul, but
there's other stuff that you said he knew that they didn't show.
the part that he didn't know was that Palpatine took Maul from
Yeah.
her. That's how Palpatine betrayed her.
Mm-hmm.
Was he stole Maul? Not that he had been told by Palpatine that she had given Maul as a gift.
Right. And that's different. The canon for that is different than there's a wasn't there like a Darth Maul origin book? There had to have been.
I'm sure there was.
I know I read it, and I remember reading a completely different story for how
he came to be.
Yeah, he didn't get stolen. He left.
This seemed a lot different to me than even the Rebels stuff, because wasn't there like 3 Night Sisters in the Rebels?
There are multiple Night Sisters, but even in Rebels, Mother Talzin was the one that was taking over Sabine and Kanan.
Well, if that's his mother, I mean, in this, they're obviously, he does whatever she wants, and she seems like she cares about him. But in Rebels, it was like he was terrified of her, and she just would kill him like it was nothing. It just seemed very different.
I don't remember that interaction being that way.
That's just what I remember. So she just goes on to explain just how like Sidious betrayed her. They worked together. He promised her that she was going to be his right hand, and then he stole her son and used him to. So Obi-Wan and the Jedi that are with him find Maul's ship and attempt to get into their hangar and board the ship. So they're attacking, and in this confusion, Grievous escapes, and the Jedis do get on board. Dooku decides, or at least pretends to decide, to work with Maul to fight the Jedi. Dooku ends up killing that Master Tipley that I was talking about that was with Obi-Wan.
Grievous escapes because of Maul. Maul disables the door using the Force and his captors. So that's how Grievous gets away.
Why does Maul do that?
I said Maul. Sorry. Dooku does that.
Oh, okay.
That's how you know Dooku had a plan.
Oh, I didn't catch that part. I didn't know how he got loose, really. So Dooku kills Tipley. I think she's the only one that actually dies. But then Dooku and Maul escape together, and the Mandalorians that were there just all get captured by the Jedi. Then you see Palpatine speaking to Mace Windu again, and they're just talking about how Maul and Dooku were working together, and Windu suggests that maybe Dooku is the Sith Lord and Maul was the apprentice. At this time, like, Maul's, all these different groups of allies that he has, they're starting to question him, and they're getting frustrated because all of their bases are getting destroyed by the Separatists, and it's just mainly about Maul's personal agenda. Maul comes to Dathomir, and he delivers Dooku to his mother, and she is, like, basically sucking Dooku's life force.
Just like she did to Kanan.
Yeah, so that she can become whole, so she can actually have a physical form, I guess. And you find out that when Maul died, she sacrificed a lot of her own essence or form or whatever so that she could resurrect him. So she's working on, like, sucking out Dooku's life, and then Grievous and Palpatine bust in. At the same time, there's, like, droid armies attacking, like, all of the different allies. So they're kind of like
all of the Shadow Syndicate.
all the different places. And so they're all backing out and are like, Maul's on his own now. So Dooku is actually his body is under the witch's control. So Dooku starts fighting Sidious, and Maul starts fighting Grievous. Maul thinks that Grievous is dead. He, like, used the Force to push him out a window or something, and he thinks he's gone. Grievous starts, not Grievous, Sidious is trying to get the witch to just
get out of
Dooku. And so she finally just appears as herself while Dooku is, like, passed out or something. She finally appears as, like, herself, and her and Sidious start doing that thing where they're both just, like, shooting lightning bolts at each other through their fingers. Maul stands by her and tells her to take his strength too, and they're just going at that for a while. And then at that same time, like, now the droid armies are at Dathomir, and so everybody has to fight or evacuate, and the witch tells Maul to run and just get out of there, and he doesn't want to leave her, but she kind of forces him to, and some Mandalorians drag him out. At the same time, Grievous comes back in through the window and kills the witch. So Maul sees her die, and then Dooku, so then it's just Dooku has woken up, and it's just him and Sidious left, and he apologizes, and apologizes for letting Maul get away again, and Palpatine or Sidious, whatever, is like, no, it was all according to my plan, and all's good.
For him. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you never mentioned the two key Mandalorian people?
One of the Mandalorians, they didn't mention Saxon.
Yeah, they did.
And then they mentioned somebody named Cast.
Yeah, so
I don't know who that one is.
Like, only for this story.
And then there was...
But you should remember Saxon. Do you remember who he is?
Yeah, Gar Saxon. Yeah. I know who he is. And there was one other one, but I don't remember it. They mentioned another name, but I don't know. I didn't know who it was.
It wouldn't have been anybody important.
Yeah, the only one I knew was Saxon.
I read this story, like, months and months and months ago. I mean, probably 6 months or more ago. And I didn't care for it that much, but I read it again, and because Gar Saxon's name was mentioned in the first issue, it piqued my interest way more. So I was much more into the story this time around. And being able to see things like the Darksaber and Mother Talzin come up and be all ghostly. Since we've watched Rebels and gotten more context for these characters and those items, because I didn't watch Clone Wars, or all of Clone Wars, it was a better series for me. Much better the second time around.
So if you would have watched Clone Wars, this would have been just... I mean, obviously, it was episodes that got not made, so
it would have been.
It followed the story very
better
explicitly.
I mean, it was good to see Maul this was before, I think I might have read this before I really even saw Maul talking a bunch.
In Rebels?
Yeah, he was talking a lot in this.
And so that was another reason when I first read it. Maybe I read this like a year or more ago. Because it came out in 2014.
Yeah.
But I think I started reading it when we very first started talking about it on the podcast, which has been forever ago now. So it was weird to me that he talked so much.
He wasn't insane yet.
Yeah. I liked all the
Wait, what? What do you mean he wasn't insane yet?
So Maul in Rebels is pretty clearly not mentally all there. Right?
Oh, so you're saying he's insane when he doesn't speak?
He speaks in riddles and crazy talk in Rebels for most of the time.
Yeah, but in the prequels, he just didn't speak.
He very rarely spoke.
So I think that's the difference. Like, he went from being almost mute to just, like, having normal conversations. Right?
Yeah. I didn't even know anything about the Shadow Syndicate.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that whole deal. So it was interesting to me to see that Maul had gotten such a
You
team
should go watch
together.
the Clone Wars.
I should.
There's a whole
The
big thing.
Mandalorians are, like, such a mixed bag. They seem like there's almost always a lot of them that are evil.
They're not evil per se.
Yeah.
They want power.
They fulfill contracts.
Yeah, they kept saying victory or death.
Right.
Like, they kept, like,
Well, they're the warrior
screaming
cast,
that.
remember?
I liked all the subterfuge and backstabbing and like Palpatine's manipulation of the whole thing, trying to get it to move toward where he wanted, where Talzin was dead.
Yeah.
And he like wanted Maul to escape.
And he had an active hand at the end.
Yeah.
It's not often that Palpatine gets his hands dirty.
Right, and he actually showed up and busted his lightsaber out. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like seeing Dooku more. Whenever they do this, like when they show more Dooku stuff, it makes me think more fondly, I guess, of Dooku, or understand better how he was such a good leader for the separatist movement, and how he was able to achieve so many victories and be such a foil to the Jedi.
He's able to achieve so many victories because they just had so many droids.
Okay. He's also a powerful force user.
He is. He very much is.
And very
Well,
smart.
I didn't know that he could do that electricity thing. I thought that was just like
Have you
Palpatine.
seen Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, I guess I
He
have.
does it
But
in
it
Attack of
just
the
seemed,
Clones.
I thought it was like kind of special. Like you had to be really strong to do that.
Yeah, you have to be a really strong dark side user, yeah.
Oh, it's only a dark side thing?
We don't, there's not a book that explains it, but it's pretty
There
explicit
used to be. But yeah, I don't think there is anymore.
that only dark side users have used it.
It used to be like you had to tap into this chaotic something in order to do it, and it was obviously the dark side.
This was obviously after Maul killed Qui-Gon.
Yes. Far after.
There was a part where when Obi-Wan and that Master Tipley were going to this outpost,
Right.
and she was like,
So the last time we met, you've missed. So it's in the Clone Wars. There's a 2 or 3 season arc that culminates in Maul killing somebody that is close to Obi-Wan.
and it's
not Qui-Gon.
yeah, it's some woman,
Right.
and so I
So
thought
that's
that
what she
was
was
weird because
referencing.
she was like, I sense something in you,
Yeah,
and
conflict or emotional or whatever.
he was feeling some kind of emotion, and and he talked about Maul killing this woman, whoever it was,
Duchess Satine is her name.
Duchess Satine, and I was just kind of like, Well, what about him killing Qui-Gon? I thought that was like a huge moment.
So this would have been like 3 or 4 episodes after Duchess Satine got killed. So it was very raw.
Okay. Nothing ever works out for Maul. I kind of feel bad for him.
He puts himself in terrible situations. Yeah. It's his own fault.
I mean, it's not his own fault that he was stolen as a child to become a Sith. But at the same time, like, he was just going to become an evil magic Night Brother, so it's kind of doomed from the start.
Nothing ever works out for him. He never wins.
I like that part where Grievous threatened Dooku when they were both captured, and Dooku was going to have to stay behind and get interrogated, and Grievous was like, I hope I don't have to add my lightsaber or your lightsaber to my collection.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, Grievous, you're awful sure of yourself.
Grievous got to kill Talzin.
Grievous is just a robot, right?
Half robot. He's a little bit of dude.
He's a cyborg, yeah.
Oh, he does have some kind of human in him?
Did you watch Attack of the Clones?
Yes, I did.
He has a heart.
He has a heart? Oh.
Yeah.
Or was that in Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan kills him? Revenge of the Sith on Utapau. It's Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Why do you find out? Does he like stab him through the heart or something?
He
shoots him with a blaster
in the heart.
Uncivilized weapon. And he says, "How uncivilized?"
He throws the blaster in disgust.
Obi-Wan does.
Yes. Yeah. It plays exactly how you would imagine it.
Does he know the only way to kill him is to actually get to his human heart or something?
No, it just happens.
Oh.
You see the weak point. He played a lot of video games back in the day.
The glowing weak point with the arrows pointing to it.
You had to... Yeah.
And then your spiritual advisor talking into your ear.
Shoot the area the red arrows are pointing toward. It is glowing, red and orange. Fuchsia. Oh.
I thought that this definitely seemed, when I started reading it right off the bat, it seemed like not a Star Wars comic. Like with the new canon stuff, it seemed like a regular old comic.
Yeah, so I think that's actually interesting and I think a cool thing to talk about. So this was Dark Horse, and the Dark Horse comics were a lot different than the current Marvel comics that are being put out. The current Marvel comics are a lot more canon-centric. So each comic...
had tons of canon.
Hold on. The canon matters. Like in all the Marvel issues. Everyone that comes out, people are exploring it. They're excited about it because it's new canon. In the old Dark Horse universe, all the comics were written to be a story in the Star Wars universe. And yes, it expanded the canon, but there was nothing in it that actually typically... grew the story in a meaningful way. It just sort of gave little side stories. So I think that's a lot of what the difference you see is.
But it was a main story because they were going to be in Clone Wars.
But there's an obvious difference in the feel of it.
I agree, it's got a different feel, but I don't think it's because of a perceived insignificance of the story.
So then what do you think it is? What do you think the difference is?
That it was all dark side people? Like, they only happen to have good guys in it for one chapter.
I've read lots of other comics, and I think this just felt like it didn't feel like a Star Wars comic.
It felt more like a comic or an adventure story.
Yeah, it just felt like
I don't think the Star Wars comics feel like Star Wars. I think they feel more like comics than anything.
Well, they're different than other comics, though.
Yeah.
They feel all of the new Star Wars comics just kind of have the same. I don't know. I don't know how to explain
both of your perspectives are so different because you didn't watch Clone Wars. Because
I think
for people who watch Clone Wars, this was the end of the story of Clone Wars.
But I'm not talking about the story itself.
It was a
I'm
main
just talking about the comic
thing. Whereas
layout
the comics,
and everything.
So like you talk about Leia and all that, those to me are tangential, absolutely insignificant, stupid stories that don't matter. Because they're never referenced again other than, there's an Alderaan flotilla.
I think
in
that
one chapter in Chuck Wendig's horrible books.
I think that it's because
that's their link. Whereas this series of books, its link is it's literally concluding Maul's entire storyline over 5.5 years of Clone Wars.
Okay.
I'm saying that you can tell that this was not a Disney comic
Oh, I don't think Disney has anything to do with it.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean? I mean, the new brand or whatever, you can tell it's different when you're reading it, not just because of the storyline, just the comic itself. And I think the reason that you don't know what we're talking about is because you haven't read a bunch of other comics. Like, I have read a lot of different Dark Horse comics and just other Image, Random, all kinds of different stuff. And there is a different feel from the new Star Wars comics and those.
I thought it felt just like the Clone Wars TV show. The pacing, everything about it was, this is Clone Wars.
But if this didn't...
I didn't think it felt that much like Clone Wars.
I don't know anything about Clone
I've
Wars.
watched like 4.5 seasons of Clone Wars. So it's not like I haven't watched.
But you haven't seen this entire storyline.
No, I haven't. But my comment about the different feel of from the different publishers. It
definitely feels different.
It expands beyond just this comic. I'm not just talking about this particular one. A lot of the stories were like that, and I'd be happy to share some with. I have a ton of them.
Oh, I've seen some of the Dark Horse stuff. That's kind of inane.
Yeah,
one-offs that.
Yeah, and like tell the Old Republic. There was a huge Old Republic series.
Sure.
Even the Star Wars Legacy stuff, like, it just has a completely different feel to it. Legacy, I think, was actually closer to the new Marvel comic Star Wars feel than anything else Dark Horse put out. Anyway.
I liked the story.
Do we have anything else to say? Oh, Obi-Wan, the guy drawing the art did a really good job of drawing his hair and facial hair to reflect his mood and like exasperation.
Shadowy. Yeah.
I didn't even know for sure when this took place, exactly when I started it, but I was like, right away, I was like, well, I don't know a lot of what they're talking about, but if you were really into the Clone Wars, I'm sure you would love this.
Yeah.
So I knew that much, but I wasn't sure if it was...
That we never got to see in TV form.
Yeah, if you're interested in Clone Wars or interested in Dooku and the gang...
Maul and the gang more than Dooku and the gang.
Well, Dooku was very prominent in this story.
Sure.
Then you'll like this comic series.
But I would recommend watching the Clone Wars first.
This does
going to.
Like, and I was always just like watching the movies alone. Like, I always was very confused by the whole, basically everything with the separatists and. I don't know.
It's all very confusing. That's one of the major complaints about.
Yeah, and because I didn't ever watch the Clone Wars or read read other comics or books, I always thought it was like super confusing. So even if you didn't watch Clone Wars, if you read this, you might get a better understanding of it because it gives a little detail.
Yeah, I would start with Attack the Clones and the Clone Wars, and then read this. It'll matter more.
I'm going to rate this.
Do it.
7.
I was going to say 8.2.
You liked it that much?
Yeah, it is the conclusion of a storyline that lasts 2 seasons on Clone Wars. So I liked the story a lot. I liked the story more than like the action. The action was kind of lame. Other than Dooku fighting the Knight brothers was pretty good. But none of the other action really stands out to me as significant in any way.
I skipped through all the action anyway. So I liked it because I understood more about Maul's backstory and everything, and
more of his backstory.
But then I still kind of just felt like, I don't know. It just was kind of predictable, I think. I mean, anytime there's anything with Palpatine, everybody is going to get tricked. Palpatine's going to win. Everybody else is screwed, and then the Jedi just look like morons at the end. Like, it's the same thing.
Yep.
I don't know. So
that's Clone Wars era Palpatine.
Yeah, like, why doesn't he ever lose? It's annoying. He does.
It's called Return of the Jedi.
I don't know. That's really hard for me to rate this.
This is pretty hard.
Just rate it. So we
I
can
want to
read
say
feedback.
6.8, but it's not because I think it's good. I just don't want.
It's fine. You're rating it from the position you read it, which is not completely informed about.
Yeah. I did like seeing the Jedi and everything.
I don't. The part where Windu and Obi-Wan, I don't know. That just seemed tacked on to me. Like they could have just left it as Maul against Dooku and Palpatine, and I would have been completely happy with that.
Well, it just kind of weaves in how he's also duping the Jedi into blaming.
They already get duped
them.
so much, like.
Well, yeah, I know. You feel bad for everybody. Everybody loses.
It just seemed like piling on, in that sense.
And they kept don't you think okay, even if Dooku was aware of this whole plan and he was, and the Emperor really confided in him and was like, okay, you're gonna get captured. I'm going to come in and save you. Don't listen to what they have to say, whatever. In the back of his mind, don't you think he has to think that he's really screwed because the Emperor really does?
He knows that
betray everyone.
He knows that, but he's going to live longer by playing along than if he doesn't. I think is ultimately what it comes down to. Yeah. Maybe he thinks he's
because he can't
stronger.
Really argue with anything. It's like when they're like, he screwed me, he screwed me, he screwed me. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm more special than you.
Maybe. I mean, the Sith are inherently a little crazy, and they think they're super powerful. So, he thinks he's special.
So that is our continuation of #Summer of Comics. We read Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, and we just talked about it at length. What's our next comic?
I don't know.
I don't think we
haven't talked about it.
All right, well, we'll look that up while I read some of these letters. Josh, you want to look up?
You want me to look up what comic series are complete?
I want you to figure out where we ended with either Star Wars or Darth Vader. Ooh. Let's finish Vader.
The first run of Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the one that is current.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have a trade and a half of the Vader comic.
I don't know if we can do that all in one.
No, we'll figure out where we're at.
Yeah, we'll have to backtrack a little because I think we left in the middle of an arc.
I think Vader number 16 is the last one we did.
Okay.
It is.
All right, so figure out which part of the trade that one's in, and then we'll do either the trade that's in the middle of or the next trade, whatever is appropriate. And I will start letters with Shane. He emails in, he says...
Are you looking at the Evernote?
I am.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Hey, SW&U, just listened to the Han Solo episodes, and I definitely liked Anakin and Obi-Wan better. I recently listened to Bloodline on... He put an S, but it's actually Bloodline. Thank you, very funny, Shane. On Josh's recommendation, it had a rough start, very slow, and a lot of politics, but once you get past that, it's a really good book. I give it 9 lightsabers. I'm wanting to go into the comics. I've never read any, only listened to them. I'm wanting to go get complete series or sets. Not sure what they're called. They're called trade paperbacks. I have no local comic book shop, so Amazon Prime it is. Yeah, so if you get onto Amazon Prime, Shane, you can get the digital trades, or you can get physical ones. They call them trades. Trade paperback trades are the collections. You'll get between 5 and 6 issues in one book. And that's where I'd go. So going back to your second sentence about you listened to the Han Solo episode and definitely liked Anakin and Obi-Wan better. You didn't even read them. You went off of these two goofballs' thoughts about the issue. And you shouldn't have. You should have gone with my opinion where Han Solo was the better. So that's all I have to say about that. Also, I am really looking forward to Battlefront 2. I hope they make a lot of improvements from the first one. I'm a big Destiny fan as well and can't wait for Destiny 2. You guys seem confused on why Battle.net over Steam for PC release. It's because Activision Blizzard are the same company and Activision is publishing Destiny. Love the podcast and I'm glad they are coming out weekly now.
Almost weekly.
Yeah, I had forgotten that Activision technically owns Blizzard because Vivendi bought Blizzard and then Vivendi bought Activision. So they don't own it, but they're in the part of the same family of companies. So that makes sense.
I'm going to play Destiny. I'm going to play Destiny with you guys.
On PC?
No.
Well, then you're not going to play Destiny with us.
I don't want to play it on PC.
Well, we're all going to play on PC.
My video card's not very good.
I'm sorry. We're all going to play on PC.
He just bought this fancy Xbox.
It's not
fancy.
It's
No. He
super-
bought an Xbox.
It's super fancy. He's got an Xbox Gold
It's not.
subscription.
Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah.
I pay to use my internet twice.
And he's never played with anybody.
That's because
Yeah.
no
Who'd you
adult
play with?
human beings use Xbox Live.
My brother, John Grab, they do.
I understand
No adult
that.
human beings.
They are not.
You maintain
They
your
are-
statement.
they are not
classify into
adults.
adult human beings in my book. If they choose, I believe that is a choice that Andrew makes, not Andy, and John follows because he'd rather play with Andrew than not play with Andrew.
We've been playing Diablo.
Yeah, but Diablo's better on PC.
Yeah, it is, but I like that art.
Yeah.
I like the console version a lot, actually.
Sure, you can like it.
Who are you playing Diablo with? Are you playing it online?
Yeah.
With who?
I've played it with strangers. I haven't actually played with Andrew and John yet, but they both
Yeah, I
own
met
it.
your friends. You're
They
not
play
playing with
together.
any of your
We
friends.
don't play Xbox.
I don't have very many friends on Xbox Live.
None of us play Xbox.
There are no human.
None of us play PS4 online.
So
only
we
play
already
PC.
have a couple Xboxes in our house, and I thought the reason that you got this one was so that you could play with your friends.
So I could play video games.
It's not to play with his friends. All his friends, the friends that you would be familiar with,
Play on
PC.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with your PC all of a sudden?
All of a sudden.
You
Oh my
you
God.
played WoW on it all the time.
Do you know how computer games work?
No,
you basically
I don't.
have to buy a new graphics card like every 2 years, or
You don't
else
have
you're,
to.
you're
Well, then how come
totally
WoW
boned.
works?
because WoW
'Cause
is
WoW
a
is built-
9-year-old game.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's super cruddy, and the graphics have only gotten marginally better over time. I still have to play with the graphics settings almost down to the lowest setting
Yeah.
with my graphics card.
I don't know what any of that means.
My graphics card is like, gosh, that thing.
Maybe you
is
should have
probably
gotten
7
a
or 8
new
years old.
graphics card instead of a new Xbox. Then.
I'm very happy with my decision so
Oh.
far.
Okay.
I would have gotten a new graphics card.
How much is a graphics card?
It varies. You can get a respectable one for $200.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's why I haven't bought one.
So-
You goof.
Jeez.
A video game console is essentially a processor and a graphics card.
Yeah.
You're paying all that money for a neutered PC.
Huh.
I did figure out that I
Hey,
can
my
now-
brother.
I can stream my Xbox to my computer.
And vice versa.
Oh, I didn't know I could do
As
that.
Well-
long as games have AWS.
Well, it was just nice because they were
If we
like
want to
watching
use the
TV, and I
TV,
could
he can play on the
my
computer.
monitor.
So,
you can do that with Steam as well.
Yeah, I know you can.
So I can play Steam on my phone from my my main computer actually plays the game,
Yeah.
but then on all my TVs, on all my
You could
iPads,
play on your
Yeah.
tablets and stuff.
yeah,
So you could play like
A full
you
PC
could play a
game.
game of Civilization
Yeah.
easily.
yeah.
both of my brothers play Xbox Live.
Okay,
I'm not
They
even
would
friends
fall
with, I'm
into
not even
the-
friends
yeah.
with them.
they would
think
be in
I
the
am
category
friends
of
with
people
James.
I would assume play Xbox. They also probably buy every copy of Madden, thinking something new. Oh my God, the tight ends have socks on this year. Better get Madden 2017.
I think that Nolan definitely gets Madden. My mom gets Nolan Madden every year
It's
for
ridiculous.
Christmas. I don't know if my brothers do that.
It was cool because I got this Xbox. I haven't been playing video
Yeah.
games for at least 5 years on console.
Right.
And so I was able to buy the oldest version of Madden for
Yeah,
$3
yeah.
and I play it and it's like a brand new game for me. I'm like, this is great, guys.
Nolan has like every version since he's
But
been alive.
Doesn't he have Xbox 360?
Yeah, he has both.
Oh, he has Xbox One as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have multiple Xboxes in our house, and
I have my
somehow
own.
we needed another one.
I'm not going to go hang out in Nolan's room every time I want to play Xbox.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a grown man.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm not playing in the kid's bedroom.
Should have taken the time and just fully invested in the PC architecture of gaming.
It's fine. I'm
And Steam
happy.
streaming.
I'm happy with my. The only decision I sort of regret is I got Overwatch for Xbox, and
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
it's hard
Yeah.
to control.
It's stupid.
Okay,
So I'm gonna cut in, natural cut in. We
yeah, announce it in a very naturally.
well, I'm explaining to him why I'm cutting in. The trade volume 3 of Vader is the annual 16 and then 17, 18, 19. So we've done the annual in 16. We haven't done 17.
So we're going to do the
19.
whole thing, and we'll just we'll give a very quick synopsis of what happened in the annual.
So that's volume 3, and then volume 4 is the rest of Vader, 20 through 24.
Okay, so we'll do volume 3 of Darth Vader next. That's our next assignment. Okay.
So for you, it's 16 to 19.
What about the annual?
You'll remember it. It's the one where he dances with the princess, all the miners underground. You'll remember immediately.
So it's the first annual, not the second.
The last thing in this notebook that I have is Vader number 14.
All right, well,
So I don't know where my notes are for the other one.
Oh my gosh, you might have to actually read it again.
Yeah. So do 16,
Yeah,
17, 18, 19. Write it down now.
I'll remember. I have a good memory.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Next up is Nerd 6.
Fine.
He says, bad lip reading music videos is the subject. Hey, nerd leaders. Been a while since I wrote in. Yeah, it has. But I've been playing the new Zelda game. Who needs sleep anyway?
You should have gotten a Switch instead of an Xbox.
I don't actually like Nintendo games that much.
They're not like Nintendo games.
But they are still.
They aren't. And the thing is you can play it anywhere.
I do think that's really cool. Nintendo really did something with how it's so portable. I think that's awesome. But I don't need a Switch. Not into it.
You would be.
I'm not. Most of the games that I play are sports games. Like, I play those more than anything.
He plays basketball all the time. There's like this huge story arc that Spike Lee created with that.
On NBA 2K16,
Oh my
it was
gosh.
terrible.
It was
the
like
worst.
a soap opera.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would be sitting there doing my homework, and then he would be sitting there watching this.
Captivated
It seemed like it was for hours.
by Jamal's plight.
I was like, what is this?
His name was
I
Frequency
didn't
Vibrations.
know this is what like attracts young men.
I don't know.
You're just sitting
I
there
have no
listening to
idea.
this drama.
It was not very good.
I've never seen anything like it.
But I got an achievement for sitting there watching it. So
That's all that matters.
I took him.
That's why he got an Xbox. He didn't want to lose all of his achievement on his gamer tag.
Probably.
I do really like the achievements, and that is why I prefer Xbox over PC. I wish PC had it. I wish at least Blizzard would do achievements.
Steam has achievements.
Yeah, they do, but
But they
You
don't give
guys
you a point score.
hijacked this email. He was like in the middle of
He
talking.
hadn't started it.
Yes,
He read the title.
No,
Who
he
needs
was
sleep
in the
anyway?
middle. He
Zelda.
was in.
We started talking about.
We did.
Talking
We're talking about Zelda.
Yeah, he's talking about video games.
You were like, no, you were like, you should have gotten a Switch.
Yeah,
it had nothing to
because
do with the email.
That Breath
has
of the Wild is
everything
on
to do.
Switch.
Oh.
Anyways, on the way into work the other day, I was listening to the newest podcast, and I got a hankering to listen to Not the Future. Those bad lip-reading music videos based on Star Wars. You've seen them, surely.
No, I've never seen one.
We watched one. Tell the
My
story.
dad was like, have you guys seen these videos? And I was like, no. And like every once in a while I'll see like somebody like share it on Facebook, but I've never actually listened or watched one. And so my dad like made us pull it up on our TV on YouTube, and like it went on forever. It was one with Yoda and Luke, and it was about, I want to say there was stuff about seagulls in it. Like,
Yeah.
what was even the name of it? I don't know.
Remember. It doesn't
But
matter.
my
In Yoda's
dad,
hut.
my dad
Yeah.
thinks it's like the most hilarious thing he's ever seen, and I laughed like a couple times, like oh, and that's the only one I've ever watched. Because after that, I was like,
Yeah, I'm not.
it was
I
like
just-
seriously
yeah.
over 10 minutes long, I think, and
No,
it was like
wasn't.
well, it felt like it. It was just like a loop of the same clips and the same song, and yeah.
I mean, I can appreciate it, and I can see how people would find it funny.
Sure.
But
I think
was
there's
not
probably
into it.
some that are a lot funnier than that one. So I probably should watch the other ones because that, yeah.
But I don't think I remember. But I don't think I remember a discussion about them. Oh, here you go. There's our discussion.
There's discussion.
Yeah, well,
You may have mentioned them, but I was wondering which was your favorite.
yeah, I need to watch the rest.
I've only watched a couple of them, and I've done it over the last couple of years, and I don't remember. They all have very distinct styles, but the more I listen to them, the deeper they get. I know they are just for fun, but I think they did them too well. Bushes of Love is the one I find myself going to over again and again with.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
should watch
find
that
the
one.
name of the one.
Also, what's your favorite episode installment of the bad lip reading? Jedi just has some great Lando moments that get me every time. The stuff between him and Nien Num is classic.
Oh, it's called Seagulls. That's what it's called. It's got...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
That's the only one I've watched.
Yeah, we don't have a favorite.
That's your favorite.
No, it's not. It's not.
Just trying to start a discussion, I guess, but I would like to know y'all's responses. Hoping everything is going well with the baby.
Yes.
Love
Thank
you guys. Nerd6 out. #muster. #growing chickens. What was that word that was driving Josh crazy several months ago?
I don't remember.
#can't remember. #the last Jedi. Hurry. _hurry. Nice job, Nerd6.
I sent him an email about the D23 thing, and he still hasn't watched it. He's still holding out. He's trying again.
We should watch it together.
I have it
Well,
queued
we have
up
to
right
watch
here.
it right now because we're going to talk about
We need
it.
to figure out how to Twitch stream our podcast.
It's easy. You just need a camera and then a Twitch account.
I have a Twitch account.
So do I. But we need a Star Wars NU one,
Yeah,
which
we
is
do.
easy to make.
Yeah.
And then you just stream it.
We should do it.
What's the first key element?
Getting a camera. We have to buy a camera.
Well, we have money now.
I know. And I've already broached that topic this
right.
week.
Well, I think Twitch stream makes the most sense out of anything.
I think putting it on YouTube makes the most sense.
So do a hangout and just record it and post it right straight to it.
What on earth is my phone doing?
It heard us say one of the...
Bixby, but Bixby is the keyword. Like, I didn't say Bixby. Did we say anything that's remotely close to Bixby?
No.
Bixby is Samsung's Siri, and it's just as garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had one.
Yeah.
Apple should just pay Google so much money.
They don't even have to pay Google. Google would do it for free.
Apple should do
integrate.
like a public execution of Siri, like live stream it, and then a new voice of Apple rises from Siri's ashes and actually works.
Twitch may have some integration with YouTube. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll look into it. I will look into it. I'm starting to actually have time again in my life. This one's from Ben. He says, "Hello, nerds. Bonjour," is the subject line. Tim, because you sounded so sad that you only received 2 letters for last episode with a third coming in at the buzzer, I decided to write one. First of all, I could have just spaced it, but I don't think we've got an update on your Dagobah swamp water ice in this last episode. Do we want to give him an update? So I bought bags of ice for Jennifer.
From the gas station or whatever.
From the gas station, and we put them into the freezer.
And they taste fine. They do not get tainted.
I can tell you that I do taste a slight bit of residue after they've been in there, but they're in these plastic bags, but they're not totally closed. So there is a little bit of flavor to them.
I brought over water today, and we put them in the official Star Wars ice cube
Boba
tray.
Fett and Darth Vader shaped ice.
So maybe in a few weeks we'll taste those.
So maybe...
And it's more of the smelling them. So if you just take those and put them in a glass of water and just smell it, you don't have to taste it. You can just smell it.
Because usually you can't taste it when it's so cold because your taste buds don't work.
Yeah, you just have to smell it, and it smells like garlic bowl.
Our ice... I just emptied our ice, and it smelled... It didn't smell the way it normally does. It smelled better. And there was no garlic powder stuff in the garlic powder section
Maybe
of the
Nolan
freezer.
stopped dumping garlic powder in the freezer.
I don't know.
But I'd never even tried our ice thinking that it would just be terrible.
I haven't had our ice in months. I never use our ice. I never use our own ice.
I think we just need a filtration
So I'm going to
system.
take some of their water back home with me and put it in my freezer.
He's got his official Star Wars Nerds Unite now.
That's our water?
No, I don't drink your water.
Oh my
I'm drinking my
I thought
water.
you filled this up so you could take it home
No,
with
I
you.
filled it up to bring you water.
Okay.
And then when I'm done drinking it, I'm going to dump out what's left and put your water in it. And then put it in an ice cube. I have a Darth Vader ice cube. Or it's not Darth Vader, it's a Death Star. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
blue-
It's like the perfect shape
Yeah.
to go into a Scotch glass.
Sure.
Yes.
So I have that. I'm going to make an ice cube out of your water.
I
that is
really
the Death
don't think
Star.
it's the water. I think it's something that
Well,
gets...
that's the point of the experiment.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
see.
we're testing.
Good.
Continuing, he says, I've become almost as interested in #IceGate as I have in the Star Wars banter. We're going to need some updates here.
There you go.
There they were. I like that. We're going to need another conspiracy after the ice gate is over.
I'm sure we can find something.
Well, we could. Never mind.
Next, with all the discussion of video games, I got to thinking about some of the older Star Wars games. Did you guys ever play Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi? No. Which one was that?
It came out on PlayStation. It was the fighting game.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, so I sent him a letter, how I got EGM back then when I was a youngin'.
Yeah.
And they had a cover story about it. And I was like so excited, but I didn't have a PlayStation, so I never played it. I
remember seeing stuff about it, but I didn't play it.
Maybe
I played it at somebody's house, but I definitely didn't own it. I didn't own a PlayStation until way late because I was a Nintendo guy, and
but not anymore.
I thought PlayStation was a betrayal, just like I did Sega Genesis. And then when Xbox came out, I was an Xbox guy, and I hated PlayStation.
Yep, like an idiot.
Still do.
Like an idiot.
Well, I was one of the 5 people that went all in on HD DVD.
You are one of the 5 people.
I bought so many of those. I must have bought 20 HD DVDs. And the HD DVD add-on to the Xbox. And I was like, oh man, the quality's so much better. Because I had a PlayStation also. So I could see the difference between
PS3.
Blu-ray and HD DVD. Anyway.
Alas.
It's been a long time since I played it, but I really feel we need a new Star Wars fighting game. Thoughts? If you do remember it, who was your favorite character to play as? Mine was definitely Mara Jade.
I don't see it happening.
Did they have an arcade version of this?
I don't think so.
Why not? Why wouldn't you see it happening?
There aren't a lot of fighting games anymore.
Yeah, there's not. Mortal Kombat and like Street Fighter.
Super Smash Brothers is honestly the most popular fighting game.
And they even, what was that fighting game that was on Dreamcast?
Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur. They don't even put those out anymore.
No. They re-released it on
It's dead.
Xbone, or one of the Xboxes. I can't remember which. Maybe 360 they re-released it on. But yeah, just fighting games as a genre is basically dead.
Yeah. It's too hard to be good at it, for me. It's not very good for casual.
I think it's just a shallow game for the average person. For the fighter aficionado, you can be very deep and challenging, but at the same time, like, it's boring.
Well, Soul Calibur was cool because you actually had like little missions. You could send your guy on, and then you would get new gear, and you sort of like level your guy up. I thought that was really cool. And I think Mortal Kombat did the same thing, but I never played any of them.
And I just don't see Disney putting out a Star Wars fighting game.
You know, one of my very favorite Star Wars games was that there was a computer game. It was super old. I can't remember the name of it. It was like Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah, it is Star Wars Rebellion. They made a board game of it.
And you like had a planet, and you got resources from it, and you had to like
send your characters to different planets.
Yeah, and you had
R2 was a spy.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's available on Steam, and
does it still work on PC?
Well, that's the thing. They re-released it this year to coincide with the board game release.
No kidding.
Yeah. So the board game is based on the video game, but you can still play the video game.
It was so hard. Me and Tim Dunaway, we used to sit down in his basement, and we'd play it on his computer.
Together.
Yeah.
Plotting Conquest of the Galaxy.
Yes. And we lost a lot because that game was hard.
Yeah. Rebellion was fun.
Okay. I enjoy hearing about who you would turn from the dark side, and like that you thought into the EU a bit. I think that I would have to go with Darth Plagueis. I think he would have a lot to offer the rebellion if he was to switch sides.
Other than being dead.
I noticed some of the other listeners are sending in their Star Wars art, so I thought I'd share some of mine with you as well. Hope you like it. Stay safe on your trip. This is so good.
He said we could use it on Facebook.
I'm going to.
I asked him.
He sent in, it's on actual canvas. It's a painting of Tatooine with R2 and C-3PO walking, and Jabba's palace is over off to the side. It's real good.
Yep.
I'll get it on the social media, and everybody can see it and compliment Ben on how great it is. Next up is Chris Kawa. Subject line is pie crust lid. Hey SWNU, I have to admit something. I really liked my analogy of the subject line being the crust on a slice of bread. However, the pie lid analogy will never be beaten. Humbly accepts defeat. Good job, Josh. You beat up another one of our listeners.
Yeah, sorry.
I liked the Han Solo episode, but agreed during the synopsis with the complaints you were making. I thought of my own version using the general outline of the story. I, like you, thought Han should have joined the race on his own. How many times have you heard him talk about the Kessel Run? This would have been just another accolade to boast about the Falcon.
He talked about the Kessel Run in that comic.
Yeah, in the comic.
He was bragging about it in that comic, and then you never hear about that race again.
What if the brainwashed spy, knowing Han has connections to the rebellion, found him on the planet where he makes the first stop and convinces him to help him and the other spies along the way to get back to what I would assume is Hoth, but the underlying motive of getting the master list and killing all of them with the underlying. This would also give a good reason for the Empire to be at the end. Not only do they have a double agent, but Death Star Destroyer Han Solo has been publicly tracked throughout the galaxy on the HoloNet, completely gets rid of the need for them to be arrested and let go, still making way for Han to let Lilu through and for her to come back to save him. The spy could even reveal himself during the end, and you could have a typical Han Solo situation of a fight outside the Falcon and one inside the Falcon. Then triumphantly he returns to Leia and obviously rejoins the rebellion. The end.
This makes more sense.
Way better story.
So, what we're really trying to say is Chris Kawwa should be writing Star Wars comics.
No, he and I combined.
Oh, okay.
Do it. I inspired his rant.
Or maybe you should just be editors.
No, we should be writers.
Do it.
Okay.
Send in some unsolicited stories to Marvel.
I'm sure that will get far.
Spider-Man was amazing, pun intended. It was an Ultimate Spider-Man arc, but it put into a movie. I'm severely biased because he's my favorite character, but in some ways it also makes me critical of how well it's done, and it was perfect. I agree with you, Chris. And I've actually heard from friends that didn't like it, and it surprised me.
I didn't hear any.
Like BenView people.
Oh. I don't know.
I don't think I've heard anybody say they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I haven't talked to a lot.
I could totally see Jeff saying he doesn't like it.
Oh, yeah. Just to be contrary,
just
like
to
he
be
is.
Jeff. But I don't know anyone that doesn't like it.
It's real good.
Yeah.
It was nice that it wasn't like the apocalypse is coming and Spider-Man saved the universe.
I read some people talking about how, maybe it was on Reddit, how they were like disappointed that they thought there should have been some origin story. It's like, come on. How many times have we seen Spider-Man's origin story? We do not need it again.
It's always the exact same thing. Everybody knows exactly what happened. It's not like there's some confusion.
Right. It was done extremely well, I thought.
By the guy I didn't stop.
Anyway. P.S. Regardless of when the next episode gets recorded, Sunday or Tuesday, Jen, you should know, never tell Tim the odds. May the force be with you.
I was right, wasn't I?
Dang it.
We did not podcast.
No, we didn't.
I would have recorded Sunday night.
What?
I would have done.
Did he fall asleep at like 8? Or did you stay up for Game of Thrones?
We watched Game of Thrones. He played a lot of video games, and then when he was done playing video games, we watched Game of Thrones. Then he probably played more video games.
We watched Game of Thrones like right at 8 and then went to bed.
I think we watched it at like 8 or 9. It was a little after 8 at least. Well, I was like kind of like meh. I thought the very beginning was awesome. Spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Game of Thrones spoilers.
I thought it was really awesome when Arya killed all the Freys. And then after that...
She's the worst.
Laying it out there.
I said spoiler alert this time.
But you don't have to say it. You don't have to say it online.
When Arya does the thing, and everyone who's seen it's like, yeah, the thing, it's awesome.
Yeah, you should have.
Otherwise,
you should have put on the earmuffs.
When Arya poisoned everybody by using a juniper berry poison that she sourced in episode 6 of last year. Remember when she killed the lady, the cupbearer, and then she used the cupbearer to kill Waller, and she stole Waller's face, and she's a faceless person. Do you remember when that happened?
Yes. That part. I thought that part was really cool, and then the rest I just kind of like, whatever.
It's all set up. It was all just set up.
Was it a bridge episode?
It is a bridge episid in the
it's
sense.
Like a phenomenon I think should have a name, but I don't think it does. I don't know. We've read or listened to all the books, and now we've watched all the episodes, and like some of the reading the TV show doesn't follow the books completely in order, and I tried to read further ahead so I would never get spoiled by the episodes. But then I'd watch some, read some, watch some, read some, and so
after season 3, that's impossible.
In my mind's eye. Well, that's why we took a break from the show for so long. But in my mind's eye, when I would after I had watched any of the show, when I was listening to the book, it would play out in my mind as the characters from the show.
Actors,
So now I cannot ever remember what's real from the book and what's from the show.
It's all melded into your own headcanon.
Yes, isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Oh.
Because the other problem is, you have been reading current. You weren't reading currently, you were reading after everything had already been out. So the people who have read the books as they came out,
it's been a really long time.
The last book was during season 1. It's been 6 years almost since a book has come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little different.
That guy is going to be long dead before he finishes the books.
I think that we listened to or read or listened to at least 2 books fully before the show started or before we started watching the show. But still, even then, going back and forth a little bit at a time, still it's all melded together now.
Just yesterday, he posted on his Nada blog that The Winds of Winter definitely won't be out this year. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
So maybe in 2018?
Yeah. But in 2015, he said he was about 2 months away. In August 2015, he said, I think I can maybe finish it in 2 months. Since then, on 7 different occasions, he's I might get it done.
Is he just waiting for the HBO writers to take over so he doesn't have to do it? So he can just copy and paste?
He just has a weird writing process, and he's very distracted by other... He writes another book series called Wild Cards that nobody reads because it's garbage, but he loves it. He loves it way more than Game of Thrones. So he loves writing Wild Cards, but he feels a duty to complete the Song of Ice and Fire.
Well, I hope so.
And so he wrestles with it when he writes it, and so he can't get motivated to do it.
I'm okay with just the show. The book drug on so bad, and that narrator they have is so terrible on the audiobook.
So.
Oh, you're talking about the audiobook. I'm like, there's no narrator. It's told in first person.
I like the narrator. I just don't like it when he sings the bear song. The bear. The maiden and the bear.
Well, it's just for book readers. There's so many plot lines that aren't in the show.
I know, and
there could have really cool payoffs in the book.
Well, there was certain plot lines that they started in the book, and then they started in the show, and then they just disappeared. What happened to Caitlin? What happened to Caitlin?
She died.
No, she come back as some zombie.
In the book?
No, there was an episode.
No.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
In the show, she is 100% dead Zord.
I swear to God, there's a scene where she comes back and her face is all covered up.
This is your headcanon merging. You're talking about...
I know it's real. I know I saw it on TV.
The end of the 4th book.
I know exactly. I know it happened in the book.
I promise you it didn't happen in the show.
I know it did.
I promise you it didn't.
I know.
The next letter's from Randall. He says, what's up, Star Wars nerds? It's Randall again. First off, a little late, but I'm 13 years old and live in Singapore and love your podcast. Okay, with that overdue introduction out of the way, I'm sad that Rebels block is over, but also glad that Summer of Comics has begun. And I also love the fact that you guys have an actual schedule, posting eps every Tuesday, Wednesday for me because time difference in Singapore. In fact, the Han Solo ep just came out today for me. Anyways, thanks for reading all my emails. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Stay awesome. Also, hashtag Summer of Comics, hashtag Star Wars Nerds Unite. So, yeah, the reason we were late is because we did our canoe trip, and then I was out of town when we would normally record.
Well, yeah, you came back for one night and then left again, and...
Yeah, it was a hot
busy
mess.
People.
But we're back on track, and we're going to release 2 episodes this week so that we make it up. I'm going to just read one more letter, and then we'll save the others. Here we go. This one's from Jace. He says, hey guys, Nerd Jace signing in. I was super... Oh,
I don't know why you typed it back.
I was super happy when I saw the new episode on the Han Solo comic, and then I was even more happy when I listened to the end and found that I wasn't the only person that had written in.
He was the only person that had written in.
Right. That's what I said. Only to have my happiness be crushed when you were about to sign out and a person sent a letter right there. Ugh. I was going to brag to all the listeners that I was the only one who wrote in, and now I can't. Darn you, boo. But it's okay. I still loved the episode anyway. Also, I have to agree with Josh that I would have liked all the issues better if it didn't have the Rebel mission. Well, hope you guys have a fun time on all your trips, and I can't wait for the next episode. I haven't read Son of Dathomir, and I can't find it anywhere for a good price, so the next episode will be good. Hope everyone is feeling well, especially Jen, and may the Force be with you. So the best place to buy Son of Dathomir is on Comixology. If you just go to Comixology.com.
Well, at this point, you don't really need to buy it.
Or you could check Amazon. A lot of times they have the deals even cheaper than what Comixology has them for. So that's where you can.
Even though they're owned by
use our affiliate link on StarWarsNerdsUnite.com to purchase it, along with all of your other items
on
from Amazon. I wish you could associate your Alexa so that Alexa would order everything through your affiliate link.
I wish they had a thing where you go into your account and you just pick your affiliate.
Yeah. So that it just always works.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we're going to sign this off, and then we're going to take a minute and record a D23 episode.
Yes.
Yes. And then we'll read some more feedback. So if you didn't get your letter read on here, you'll get it read on the next episode, which you'll only have to wait like a couple days for.
I have to leave in 1 hour. So we got to.
It won't take that long.
Yeah.
Just wait till you see this video.
Oh my God.
All right.
Hold on to your hats.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView Network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at BenViewNetwork.com.